this act of theft is in a triangle. The triangle, there are a triangle. All of us, of course, we went to primary or secondary school. There are three sides. One side of this triangle, you said I shouldn't mention, but in this case, is NNPC. The second side is the security agencies, and the third leg of the triangle are the criminals and the sponsors. These three legs must stand for the illegality to travel. If you take one out, it can happen. Now, I'll give you an example. How did they connect to the pipes? That's why how did they connect to the pipe? The pipe is highly pressurized. If you attempt to connect to the pipe when the oil is running, you are likely to lose your life. So they must come to connect when there is a weak time, when there is a break in transmission, when there is no oil in the pipe. Who knows when there is no oil in the pipe? Who knows? I'm sure all of us here, you will get you know the answer. Who knows when there is no oil in the pipe? Now, if they have loaded, we have the whole channel covered. They are stationed serially on the pipe. How do they get chance? It's not an easy thing to do. If you have seen what they presented here, the connections were difficult. How did they take their time to do it? Where were the security agencies that were supposed to be on that pipe? Where are the security agencies that are supposed to be on that pipe? Where were they? And if they have loaded a ship and they are going out of the channel, we have what it takes. We have chefs. We have air. I have you saw somebody who came out yesterday who served under me. He was the air company commander. I could deploy air without resorting to the chief of air staff because they were directly deployed to my command and control. And this is still on. So how did it happen? I deployed the air to the I said, get this vessel. And they will find out. So, and the people that prompted this illegality force are the sponsors who had money, not small boy money. Don't look at those boys who are doing connection there. The big people are here. They sponsored it. That is why when their ships are seized, they will run around and say, no, this is wrong. You don't have to burn the ship. You don't have, but this says I burnt all the ships that are arrested, sank them. I sank them. And within that period, nobody attempted to come and do any illegality. So for me, it is an easy job to be done. It has been done before. It's doable if all of us agree to do it. My question is that, do we agree to do it? Yes. There is silence. Yes. Do we agree to stop illegality? Yes. Okay. Now, in the course of my operation, I hid under the cloak of the last mandate, which was any forms of criminality within the Niger Delta. And I went after, I saw somebody from Ondo State yesterday. I said, somebody who spoke that he was from Ondo yesterday. Ibori, Ibori, you remember them? Osi Ibori, I took him out. Good. Those were then who somebody said from Timeko, Okanafo. You remember those your miscreants in Timeko and Okanafo forest? I pursued them from there. who is from Calabar here. Bakassi Strike Force surrendered in January 2019. Who Ogbia? You remember Karawe in Ekremo, who was terrorizing the whole channel? We took him out. Along with his 17 groups. So what we were giving, because once you are armed, I don't know why they come out to give excuses. Once you are armed, I don't give you chance. I don't make arrests. I don't make arrests once you are armed. So if we want to do this thing, the committee, I advise you to make sure the policy on the ground is enforced. And no secret cows. You shouldn't make any secret cows. They are there. If you call me executive forum, which I'll be ready to do, I will give you details, more details, facts and figure. For those who are doing it, if I call some of the name here, you will be shivering. Thank you. God bless.
Yes. Thank you, Admiral. Thank you. Admiral Suleiman, that was a very wonderful engagement, very wonderful presentations. I would like to, on behalf of the committee, thank you once more. And your aggressiveness to actually help this committee deliver on the mandate. Take it to the committee, please. Please, we must have an organized way of doing things. We have given him the opportunity to speak. He has spoken. And we have taken his contributions very seriously. And we are not even asking him to take a bow and go. We are not asking him to exit. This man will remain here. We have found a lot of content in him, and definitely will make use of the available intelligence you have and information for the betterment of the committee.
Protocol. My name is Abdul Qadir Saliu, Deputy Director in the Operations Directorate, Department of State Services. Now, I also want to create your indulgence, sir.
Sorry, DSS, I don't know if you were here when the rules were read out. We have said that you have a maximum of 7 minutes to make your presentations. Okay. Please keep to the rules. Thank you.
Noted, sir. Now, we have answered adequately the questionnaire provided for us. But as a follow-up, I have this small presentation to make. By way of introduction, the menace of crude oil theft has continued despite sustained security efforts. We attended drastic shortfall activities, as well as debilitating effects on the health status of residents in impacted areas. The last decade has witnessed a significant uptick of this threat, particularly in the Niger Delta, where illegal refineries, illegal connections to the wellheads, as well as fabricated main trunk pipelines for siphoning crude oil are being exploited by vandals. Crude oil theft is majorly perpetrated in two aspects identified below: oil theft for local refining, and then oil theft for onward transfer to bodies and to our neighboring countries. In an effort to tackle the menace, an interagency operation comprising the service, that is DSS, alongside sister security agencies, supported by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, is currently ongoing. And to complement this security effort, we are also carrying out non-kinetic efforts in the affected region so as to reduce the menace. Now, some of the countermeasures currently in place include: 1, identification of all forms of siphoning aids, such as ICs, that is illegal connections, IRs, that is illegal refineries, and clamps. 2nd, inclusion of organized non-state security actors whose workforce is largely constituted by rehabilitated ex-militants. Adoption of non-kinetic approaches, which is facilitated by critical assets and stakeholders. Identification, arrest, and ongoing prosecution of prominent figures involved in the illicit trade. Seizure, destruction of machinery and equipment used by vandals. We also carry out periodic redeployment of government security agencies or operatives in flash points. Now, having said this, we also have some recommendation here because of time factor. Now, the following are recommended for implementation by the committee. Number one, strengthening of law enforcement and judicial system. Combat corruption by strengthening anti-corruption laws and institutions. Imposition of appropriate, commensurate, and sufficiently deterrent sanctions on all those culpable. Enhancement of existing legal framework, and last but not the least, establishment of robust whistleblower protection program to encourage persons with information to volunteer same without fear. In conclusion, the existing operational strategies to curb crude oil theft and illegal oil bunkering have recorded moderate successes, which is evident in improved oil production of about 1.6 million liters, 1.6 million barrels per day, as corroborated yesterday by other contributors. This notwithstanding, these early gains, the continuous improvement and implementation of non-kinetic measures alongside the military operation, if properly coordinated, is expected to effectively tackle the economic threat. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, we initially agreed to this NNPC and the criminals. I want you to speak to that question. Thank you.
With the submission of the retired admiral of the triangular criminal syndicate, it appears to be reasonable. What he just said appears reasonable. Like I said, I believe we are going on an investigation. He may probably be proved wrong or right at some points, but to a casual listener, I want to believe that his presentation or the address he made to this effect sounds justifiably reasonable. What would you say in response to what he has said? Please.
We were all here yesterday. We had a lot of presentations. And today as well, we have heard a lot from a lot of people, and especially from our, voluntary guest who came in on his own to give us a lot of his experiences while he was in office. And from a lot of the, information we have been able to gather here, the summary seemed to be that the people that are perpetrating this crime are within the system, whether from NNPC, from political class, from overseas, outside the country, from the communities, from all over. And majority of Nigerians believe that everything, like 90% of activities that go on in this country, the DSS have the intelligence. They know about, the perpetrators, the criminals. Does this in any way mean that the DSS could be covering up for some of these criminals in any way? Thank you.
It's a thing of shame if, especially our own generation, if we sit right here, or we are so privileged to find ourselves on this side, and we still claim that we can't find a solution to this issues surrounding oil safety in Nigeria. If you are expected or employed to carry out some responsibility, considering the...
I am bothered about item 1 under challenges to ongoing operations against illegal oil bunkering. You said compromise by some security operatives. Now, for you to have listed that here is an indication that you have cases of compromise that were recorded. We would like to know, when you discover issues like this, what do you do? Because if it has continued to the extent that you are concerned and you have documented it, it means that it is still happening. Do you take actions that would deter others from going ahead to do same, or you just push it by the side and continue because it's still happening? Thank you.
Next.
I've clearly seen the effort your department have made. But looking at it closely, it tells me that it is more of a reactionary effort. And if I understand the core operations of the DSS, it is more of intelligence. And intelligence in this regard has to do with stopping an action before it is implemented. I recall those days when I was maybe a little boy. I knew very well that DSS were almost everywhere, gathering information for an action that are being anticipated. The question is, are you still deploying such intelligence to stop an action before it is carried out? Thank you.
My question is also to the last speaker. Like what my colleague just said now, we've always known the DSS to always been at the forefront of the security issues of this country. Me also being the son of one of the first DSS officers in this country, I've always revered the DSS and I've always revered them, knowing that they're always on top notch of everything they do. My question goes thus. In your presentation here, in the Appendix C, a lot of arrests has been made, or a lot of arrests. And all the arrests is just saying undergoing trial, undergoing trial, undergoing trial, undergoing trial. Has there been no convictions? Has there been no trial has ended? Has it just been, everything has just been undergoing trial since the beginning of the arrest till now? That's my question. Thank you.
Colleagues and stakeholders. My name is Donald Kemekamba Ojogu. I am from Ilaje Seudo, from Ondo State. My question goes to the DSS still. Well, DSS, no one doubts your capacity in terms of intelligence gathering and processing for action, necessary action. In page 2 of your presentation, you alluded to the fact that you included organized non-state actors. Because you didn't mention them in the open, I also not mention them, although they are documented there, in helping your efforts towards stopping these illegal acts that have been perennial in the Niger Delta region. Many of these non-state actors have been engaged. And I believe that periodically, by the nature of the DSS, you will have an assessment of the output of your efforts with all these non-state actors. Do you do a periodic assessment of these non-state actors vis-a-vis their efforts? You want to tell us here that they are all performing optimally to the extent that you still have quite a number of them in the Niger Delta? Thank you.
In the beginning of my speech, most of what we do as a service is, number one, covert. Then secondly, most of the information too are classified. And so based on these two important factors, I may not give details to some of these answers. But as a beginning, let me start with the issue of collusion. Now, it is natural that when you start operation of this nature, as the operation is going on, you begin to see certain things. That is, the operation will start to unravel. Now, as it is unraveling, you also start taking measures based on manifestation of events. And part of that measure that we have taken now is, NNPC alluded to it yesterday, that we have a platform called IMRA. Now, that platform is an amalgam of all security agencies and some of these non-state actors. They have representatives, high representatives, commanders that are there. So whenever anything happens in the field, all agencies participating in this operation is an industry-wide operation codenamed Operation Plug, coordinated by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company. Now, all the agencies involved in this collaboration will have first-hand information on what is going on, and then agency responsible for taking action will be assigned that responsibility. And you are expected to deliver that responsibility within a timeline given to you. So most of the agencies on this platform have that privilege of taking action. Where actions are not taken, responsible agencies or agency are reminded or is reminded to do the needful. So on the issue of collusion, as we are all aware, every agency has its internal disciplinary procedure. So when an incident regarding collusion by either operatives or an operative with other non-state actors, that particular agency is intimated, and then action is taken within that agency. And as you are all aware, the service is very, very proactive in this regard. I will not speak for other agencies, but for us, we have been taking action, and then we have been consistent in this action. Now, on the issue of cover-up, honestly, the service has never been involved in this. As far as I'm concerned, we have been diligent in our responsibility, and we have been taking care. Whenever issues arise, we normally notify any of our collaborating agency for necessary action. And if I will allude to my speech, because much part of the challenge we are facing is the legal framework. And now, I don't want to jump question, but I will still refer to the issue of prosecution, because one of the honorable members made mention of ongoing, that what we have is ongoing prosecutions. That is the information we avail you. But for the prosecuted ones, I don't think the questionnaire requested for that. Prosecution is ongoing. We have done some, we have concluded some, and then some along the line, as you know, due to legal framework bottlenecks, some of these litigation matters are either suspended or dismissed by some of these courts. But we've been able to identify some of these loopholes, and that is why we are requesting for tightening of this legal framework so that we can have successes in most of these ongoing and any litigation that will come subsequently. Now, like I said, publication of names. Honestly speaking, that is not within my purview. And it is not part of service or a mandate, because most of this information are classified. So it is out of my own power here to say I want to, or I will tell the committee that we will publicize. Honestly, that one is beyond my mandate here. So thank you, sir. Then on the issue of compromise by some security agency, like I alluded to in the earlier presentation or my contribution, yes, I will admit we've been having cases, but like I said, this operation is not restricted to DSS alone. Other agencies are collaborating. So where issue or issues of compromise arises, IMRA platform is there. The platform is there where on a daily basis, each representative of participating security agency is there So issues are brought up and then thrashed accordingly. Where there is delay due to exigencies, each agency or responsible agency is tasked to deliver. And I can assure you that it has been ongoing and we have been doing as much as we can. And we will keep improving on the situation we have. Now, on the issue of one of the honorable members, the SSS is known for providing proactive intelligence. But I will tell you one thing. In every situation, you will find out that what we've been doing is intangible. People don't see. When you provide intelligence and so-called action do not manifest or does not manifest, nobody hears anything. But it is when something manifests that people will start talking. I can give you for free now. There's a planned protest. This is classified. But I can tell you right now that there are ongoing efforts. I can tell you efforts by the service. Even some of you are aware. We'll be inviting stakeholders. We'll be reaching out just to make sure that this thing is prevented. Now, nobody gets to know until when this thing happens that people will start talking. So what we do basically, or more of, is intangible. It's intangible. Now, on the issue of conviction, I believe I've answered that because I don't think the questionnaire requested for that. So convictions, yes, I can tell you we have had conviction, but there's still room for improvement. And part of our request is for improvement in the legal framework. Now, for the honorable member from Ilaje, he asked of non-state actors or non-security state actors. Now, we have been using them. And I must confess to you, there's a tool in the service we call vetting. Before you are employed, we will vet you rigorously. Now, in the course of you carrying out or collaborating with the service, we also do what we call continuous vetting. Periodically, we vet. If we find out issues, we will recommend. So that, I can assure you, is ongoing. So if we say we are collaborating with non-security state actors, it doesn't mean that if we employ you at the beginning of the operation that we'll continue to use you. In the course of the operation, if we find out that there's something unusual or that you are going contrary to the laid down rules and regulations, we obviously recommend for you to be dropped or taken out of the operation. So right now, we are doing continuous vetting for those people who have employed and then vetting for prospective people that want to collaborate with.
So, from your submission on non-state security actors, you recommended that they should be, they should allow them to go, they should stop working. Are you recommending that government...
Now, like I said, this operation is still unraveling. We say in the long run, because whatever we are doing, the belief is for intervention. What we are doing right now in the Niger Delta is interventionist program. In the long run, there is a plan that will cater a permanent program or plan that will cover for this intervention. If you remember, last 2 weeks, there was a meeting attended by the service chiefs where it was mentioned that a timeline was given within which this menace to be addressed or reduced drastically. So I can assure you that that recommendation, or that in my conclusion or recommendation, that is born out of the fact that whatever we are doing as security agencies is intervention, but we cannot continue on this. There must be a deliberate plan for the natural process to take its course. So part of that intervention is the inclusion of non-state actors. So as we are also degrading our operation or reducing our investment and intervention, that of non-state actors too will be scaled down according to the need. On the issue of whistleblower policy, okay, now even before the advent of the whistleblower policy in Nigeria, we've been having this what we call sources. So the service has a robust program for it. And you can also bear with me, or you can allude to the fact that the service is one of the best agencies in terms of recruitment and maintaining of sources. We don't disclose. And I can assure you that most of what we are doing is based on information. And we also depend on other sources to give us information. So it is one of the cardinal principles of the service to protect our sources of information. So I can assure you that we have a robust program to cater for it. So thank you, sir.